$5 and all black. He wears a silver fur. His mates just didn't want him, so he said and got a turn. I think we got the words right.
It was a gentle poke at apartheid, because that year an all-white, all-black team was going to South Africa. The record was actually banned by the NZBS.
Hey, Howard. There's no Hories in that scrum.
But that didn't stop it selling over 60,000 records, which is a phenomenal number in those days.
There's a very beautiful song about the way I feel about our very beautiful country, Aotearoa, New Zealand. The song is entitled, This Land Is Mine. Ours. This land is mine. God gave this land to me.
You know, it's true what they say. You have to go overseas to appreciate how privileged we are to live in this amazing country. What we need to do, I think, is to make sure that we are good guardians of it. It isn't yours or mine. It is ours, and we need to look after it. Keep it safe for the next generation, and the next, and the next.
Where our children can run free.
The land is the one and only cloak we have to embrace us all. And what we need to focus on isn't the length of our lives, but the width. We need to celebrate who we are, which is why it gives me so much pride and joy to have my family on stage with me during performances. Like my nephew, Tim Wera, named after my father, by the way. There he is leading the challenge. And a challenge to all New Zealanders. This is your home. Take care of it. We are family. Be strong.
Well, as we just heard, the nephew, Tim Wera Morrison, was named after Sir Howard Morrison's father, Tim Wera Morrison, who was also incidentally or coincidentally a Māori All Black. Well, he felt Aotearoa was big enough for everyone, no matter where they came from, including people from the Pacific Islands, who in the 1960s were breathing new life into New Zealand culture. Amongst the new migrants were three sisters who Sir Howard met and encouraged to build musical careers: Adele Paris, Pauline Prichter and Mary Yandel, otherwise known as the Yandel sisters. Kia ora and welcome.
Kia ora.
Now tell me, your memories of Sir Howard.
There's so many memories. Where would you like us to start?
Give us a good one that nobody would have heard of before.
Let's see. I think not long after we sort of were doing vocal backings on TV with Bernie Allen, he introduced us to Sir Howard and saying that Howard had a new song that he wanted backing vocals and he'd heard us sing, so we went along, and the song was called I
Ain't Never Seen a White Man.
Never Seen a White Man, which was never released because of the
title, wasn't it? Yeah, a little bit suspect. So we said, okay, you're Māori and we're Samoan.
So it was never released?
No, not
but
really.
It was a great song.
Yes.
It was very gospel-y, yeah.
And that was the beginning of our backings for Sir Howard, and from then on he invited us to sing at the, what was it now? The concert in Hamilton, sorry. Founders Theatre.
We saw a clip earlier on, actually, when he was singing The Green Door. Was that the same concert?
It could have been.
I think so.
Then, yes. Well, our memories are...
Didn't see that clip, we were makeup, sorry.
We did do the backings, and the backings for the Royal Command performance.
That's right.
Where we were up in the gods with the backing singers from Happening Days.
That's right.
And we all did the backings for How Great Thou Art.
Did you have a favourite song that you used to sing with him?
No, but we had to stretch our vocal cords because every last note had to go 2 minutes long.
That's right.
And that was good training for us to, you know, produce the sound that he needed to hear.
Because Ray Wolf was talking about before of how such a perfectionist Sir Howard was. It didn't matter which level he would reach on a certain night, the next day he wanted to reach even higher. Was he like that?
He certainly was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He certainly was a perfectionist, but also a great visionary as far as the entertainment was concerned in every aspect. He knew what he was doing, he knew what he wanted from us, and if we could all do 150%, he was very happy. So we were on our toes with him throughout a lot of his concerts, and it was more than a privilege for each of us to actually know him, to work with him. A much loved man and well respected.
At so many of the concerts, and you will be able to testify to this as well, there were so many non-Māori, if you like, or a lot of Pākehā, as Ray Wolf was saying before. He would fill the audiences with them.
That's right.
That's true.
Yeah.
Everybody
Why do you think that was? How do you think he was able to achieve that?
Because he was what I would term an international artist, entertainer, and so he touched everybody in different ways, and it didn't matter what colour of skin or how you were brought up. You know, Pacific Islanders as well, we all got his humour, which is very similar to Māori, of course. So, you know, it was just Howard's way. He was just not just a Māori entertainer, or, you know, a Māori entertainer entertaining Pākehā people. He just entertained everybody.
Because he was
sometimes it was just his look. If he looked at us and just went, we knew that meant, okay, give it the way we people give it. And it's the Polynesian style of, you know what to do without, you've got to do this, you've got to do that. It was really just a look, and we all knew, okay, step up to the mark and deliver the way Polynesian people can really deliver vocally, you know, and musically.
Because he was able to touch all people from all different backgrounds, all races, but all ages as well.
Well, that's right.
Absolutely.
I remember Prince Tuitika, the late Prince Tuitika, and because I heard the family saying that he used to go to the Uruwetas when he was younger, and, well, the Tūhoe tribe, we had a lot to do with the late Prince Tuitika in those days as well, doing concerts. But he and Howard's, I suppose they're both tribes, if I could put it that way, were very close in their way of being very normal. What I mean is simple, down to earth, and they had open, big hearts. And so that is our impression of Howard as well as the late Tuitika.
Tell us about some of your experiences while you were on tour. And I know that, you know, good old saying, what goes on tour, what happens on tour stays on tour, but some of the light moments, if you like.
I think sometimes it was getting ready for a show, and even Lady Queer would look at us, and you knew that you had to, you know, you had the wrong earrings or you had the wrong look, and okay, you know, go back and touch up again. So there was a standard he was setting all the time. And without saying it, we just knew it, that there was a standard and a presence that we all had to deliver. And that was just a nice thing. Rather than say, you do this, you do that, it was really just, here we are, there's the benchmark, go for it, girls. So
I'm glad that you actually mentioned Lady Morrison, because Sir Howard has always said that that was his best friend and his tower of strength. She often went on tour. And you know, your thoughts, obviously, all our thoughts are with her at this time.
Yes, absolutely. Our prayers and the love from our family, the Andel family, to those in the Morrison family, especially Queer, the children who we got to know well, and Howard's sisters, who Adele mentioned before. They have such beautiful voices. Yes. And we wondered why he didn't get them to do the backing vocals and not us, you know, but we felt a very privileged honour to be, and a blessing that we can use our talents, merge it with Sir Howard and his family, and make for a good show.
Because Ta Howard Morrison was saying earlier on that he would often bring his own whanau up to help on stage. So it was very much a whanau thing as well on stage.
It was definitely a family thing, and I think coming from a big family ourselves, you know, where it was really lovely to see that. And Howard, he never backed away from including his family, and even when his mum was alive, he never missed the opportunity to invite her on stage and sing, and she had a beautiful voice.
She did.
So as Pauline was saying, it was really a privilege to be part of that whanau.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was
Very
extended.
gifted, talented family, and you can see that he had his mother's traits of a genteel person to be with, but also a very open-hearted person, and that came through the whole family.
And keeping us on our toes too, you know, he just, he'd rehearse the whole show one day, and the next day we'd go on stage, and he'd just change it like that.
Yeah.
And we'd, here we go.
Which is exactly what Dame
That's
Malvina
true.
May just said. You had to be on your toes because you'd rehearse it right up to that minute, and even on stage it would change. And so I think we have about 5 versions of Begin the Begin.
Exactly.
And about 3 versions of How Great Thou Art.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
we had to know which version we were going to be doing.
So just to wrap things up, your final memory, your final thoughts of Sir Howard Morrison?
A total all-round entertainer who was also loving and sharing of his talent, which was huge, you know, not just for his people, but people of Aotearoa and the world.
Yes.
We'll love him and miss him.
Yes.
For me personally, I attended the when he was knighted, and I attended when I had a little baby, 6 months old, my husband. Well, they stayed in the car while I attended it, and after that he came up and he said, "Oh, did you come by yourself?" And I said, "No, they're waiting in the car." "Oh, bring them in, come on, we're all going together." And they weren't dressed for the part, but this was the love of a man who could read through those little things that felt very personal, and I'm grateful for someone like that. You know, the insight and the just the dignity of a man who could bring himself right down to something like as insignificant as a little
And
thing.
your final memory?
A truly humble man, a family man, a man that is proud in family, but also in what he gave, not only to his nation, but to the world. So he taught us a lot.
Thank you very much for coming in this morning. I was just looking at the LP here, and I must say you haven't changed the look in the day, have you?
Oh,
Maybe
still looking
I
the
love
same.
to do these days.
You still look the same. Thank you very much for coming in.
Much. Thank you.
Now, in December last year, the Civic Theatre hosted To Sir With Love, a concert to honour Sir Howard Morrison. Amongst the performers that evening was a distinguished dame who graced the stage with Sir Howard on many occasions.